In today's video, we'll be discussing real property rights. Now, within that category, there are several key real estate terms that you're going to need to know for your real estate licensing exam. So let's get started. Let's go to page 19 of your textbook. At the bottom of page 19, we're going to discuss real property rights. Because remember, prior to 1776, no one had any rights to anything in land. We decided to, as a government, that we're going to use the alloidal system and give folks real property rights and those type of things, so we can bequeath and sell and do all those things that we talked about. So there are the largest classification of property rights, and there's all kinds of property rights out there, but for this course, we're only going to talk about hereditaments here, or at least for this chapter. Hereditaments is the largest classification of an individual's rights in land, or in real property. Now, we have to distinguish between land, real estate, and real property because one builds upon the other. So it's very important. So land is a subcategory of a hereditament. So land is the earth. It is basically from the boundary lines. It's the earth's surface, including the soil that goes down to the core of the center of the earth, all the way up, extending infinity into the heavens. That is in itself the raw right of an individual owner in their land. So if you own 80 acres, from boundary to boundary, you own from the center of the earth extending all the way to the heavens. Now, over the years and the decades since 1776, governments have placed restrictions on your property, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. So we start with a raw piece of land that you own. You can will it, you can buy it, sell it, option it off, you can lease it out, for crops, you own the mineral rights to it and all of that. So let's look at what real estate is. So we have land. Now, real estate includes the land and any improvements that are on there, such as a house or a garage. Then real property is the land with all the improvements, the house and everything, and then all the rights that go along with the ownership. And if you look at your screen there, you see that real property includes the land, the real estate, and all the rights and privileges of the owner. Now, what are the rights and privileges of the owner? We have tenements. And tenements are broken down into three subcategories. And that is, so we have the hereditaments, and then under hereditaments are these three classifications: land, real estate, and real property. And then under real property, we have tenements, which are the owner's rights and privileges. And those rights and privileges are corporeal and incorporeal, meaning some things you can physically touch, some things you cannot physically touch, but they exist. So for example, corporeal rights are tangible things that you can touch. So if there's a tree on your property, that's your tree. You can feel it, you can touch it. However, incorporeal rights, they exist, and you have a right to them and you own those rights, but you can't see them. So for example, you may have an easement. Utility easements, for example, they're on the property, but they impact your rights. You may have a lien against the property. That's an incorporeal right. It exists. The fact that you can buy the property, or you can sell the property, or option it, or lease it, that is absolutely an incorporeal right. You can't feel it or touch it, but the right exists. And then the bundle of rights. The bundle of rights is another doctrine under tenements, and that means you own the surface rights, the subsurface rights, the air rights. It gives you the right to do whatever you want. And if you look at the bottom of page 20 there, you'll see it kind of packaged up there, that figure at the bottom of page 20 talking about the bundle of rights here. And then there's a term at the bottom I put down there, profit a perende. That's a legal term. It says the owner has the right to use and extract from the land of another. So that's where somebody would have the right to come in and extract oil from my property if I didn't own the mineral right. So a couple of things we need to talk about, or I need you to have you highlight though, because they are key. On page 19 at the bottom, where it says real property rights, you need to highlight that first sentence there. It says the largest classification of property is referred to as hereditaments. And then you have to know that little in the margin at the bottom there, distinguish between, and then land, real estate, and real property, you need to highlight that as well. And then on page 20, blue bold print, it says tenements. Highlight that first sentence there. And then bundle of rights in the middle of the page. It'll say bundle of rights in blue bold print. Highlight the next two sentences after that. It says it gives the owner the surface rights, subsurface rights, so on and so forth. So that is hereditaments. All right, that's all we got for today's video. More Study Buddy videos to my right. Go ahead and click that video. Or if you have not subscribed to our channel, click the little circle to my left here. We would appreciate it. I'll see you in the next video.